Hey guys, I'm the Film Fan, and welcome back to another video. The final episode of Wandavision just dropped this week, and today I'm going to talk about the entire series as a whole, and give my review of it. Without further ado, let's get into this. So, I've been watching this show week by week. I've been getting up early, about 5 a.m. every morning on Friday, during the last couple of months. This has been the MCU's first Disney Plus show. It's much more of a mystery, and with each episode you piece together the bigger story behind what is going on and why it is going on. I know a lot of people were skeptical about this series, and they were alienated by the trailers, thought it just looked too weird. I went in from watching the trailers thinking, Marvel is doing something crazy weird, and I gotta check it out. So I've been watching it week by week, as I said, and here's my take on it. And let's get into the good. And automatically, this is a very intriguing show that builds a very good mystery that you keep wanting to come back to. At the end of each episode, there's almost always something crazy revealed that you just can't wait to know more about. I've seen some reviews of the series going along the lines of, I don't think I'll ever hate something as much as I hate the phrase, please stand by, and that is very true. I think I will agree with that. And I've just enjoyed coming up with theories and piecing together what is going on in this very strange situation. I've discussed it with a lot of people online, and it's just overall, it loves to play with you, and I've really enjoyed that factor in this show. The series also pays homage to a lot of older sitcoms. The idea is you're seeing Wanda and Vision in this strange sitcom world, and you want to know why. And from watching this, you can get the vibe of a lot of things in space from. Some of the earlier episodes are homage and stuff I never really watched that much, but as soon as you get into like the 80s, 90s, 2000 era, and you see the opening credits, and it's in like the style of Family Ties, with how the house looks, and whatnot, it presses some huge nostalgia buttons. This is also a lot bolder than anything else in the MCU. Starting Phase 4 off with a 1950s sitcom is a very risky choice, and so I'm glad they did that. For anybody who says that the MCU isn't daring and is doing the same thing again and again, that is a common criticism, and sometimes I agree with it, sometimes I don't. Here, I absolutely don't agree. Part of what makes a series so good is it completely alienates you. It departs from anything in the rest of the franchise. One of the things about being a miniseries is that it also gets a lot more time to develop its characters and build towards its mystery and its twists and reveals. And so when you learn that certain characters were behind everything, it is way more impactful than it would have been otherwise. It also makes the final emotional moments of the series feel all the more impactful, and it pulls on you harder. Finally, I love seeing some of the side characters from other MCU movies come back into this. While it is a little contrived how it's set up, it's nice to see Darcy, Jimmy Woo, or James E. Woo, I don't know, and Monica Rambeau come back. And I think they do improve on all of these characters, especially Darcy, who I didn't particularly like in the Thor films. She's actually pretty fun in WandaVision. And yeah, there are a lot of really great elements about the series, and I've thoroughly enjoyed coming back to it week to week and just seeing all the crazy things that have been happening with it. But it's not without frustration, so let's move on to the mixed category. And right off the bat, this is going to be weird. I've talked to some people who just couldn't get into it because of how much of a departure it is from the rest of the MCU. This is obviously the point, which is why I included it in the mixed section and not the bad. But a lot of people were just confused and had no idea why this was their introduction to Phase 4. And I was willing to keep on going with it and see what they were trying to accomplish with this. And I ended up really enjoying it. But you can definitely see why this might be just too much of a departure from anything else in the MCU. There isn't really any major action until the final episode. And yeah. So once again, that's a good thing that it's doing this, but it can bother some people. And from there, let's move on to the bad. And the big thing is that some of the reveals are kind of disappointing. When it sets up some really interesting ideas, yeah. Of course, you can't let your series go too outlandish and too ridiculous, but there are so many interesting ideas that were presented that would have been so much cooler than what we actually got. And so this is why I wasn't crazy about like episodes 7 and 8, because I just didn't feel like the things that were being revealed were that exciting and were kind of the boring choice. And so as much as I love the build up to it, not all of it is satisfying payoff. Most of it is, of course. Most of it is, but some of it didn't fully land, or it landed, but it just was kind of disappointing. And also just, I don't know. It does, there are some dull points in the series. It also has such a little bit of a wonky structure where a lot of characters are separated from each other, and some of the best things about this series is the dynamics, and so this makes even episodes 7 and 8 even weaker for me when they deal with all of the casts being split up. And that's it for the negatives. Other than that, I really dug this. So, conclusion and final verdict. So, WandaVision is a very interesting show that you absolutely get. It hooks you and you can't stop watching it. It is absolutely one that you'll be coming back to and dissecting and trying to figure out answers for. And I don't know what's going on. And yeah, it's not without frustrations, but it's an intriguing mystery from beginning to end that does something totally different from the MCU, or the rest of the MCU. It's not for everyone, but that's part of what makes it so good. I'm going to give this a B+ and an 8 out of 10. I recommend to all MCU fans and Marvel fans in general. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, follow me on Letterboxd. I'll leave the link in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.